What is happening, everyone? It is December 4th, and as you can tell, I'm in the festive red and green spirit because this is the Christmas update. Similar to what I did with the Halloween update last month, where I tried to make it a lot of horror movies, I tried this one to browse all my local used shops and stuff and look for Christmas movies that I hadn't seen before across multiple genres. Now, these aren't all Christmas movies, but there's a very good handful in here. So let's get into it. And the first one is with probably one of the most obsessed, one of the most streamed shows of all time that I just never watched. You know, when I was in high school, when I was in college, this was all the rage, and my friends, everyone I know has binged this show multiple times. And they just released this new Blu-ray Christmas collection episodes, so I thought, what better season to kick off than watch The Office? And overall, you know, I liked what I saw in here. I did have fun. I did laugh. I love the raw, just realism, mockumentary feel of this, similar to the Trailer Park Boys show. I was able to pick up on everything really quick. The characters are fun because in my mind I'm connecting them all to people that I personally knew and have worked with in the past, which is funny. There's definitely a few storylines that I could tell I was missing details of, but I never really felt too lost with it. But I had fun with this. I really do not have a pressure, an urgency to go watch the whole show, but... And then this, you know, the Barbenheimer craze of 2023, we had Barbie, which, you know, because I'm Ken, so I'm tailor-made for this, right? I never saw this in the theater, and to date, I still have not seen this. So I don't have much, but the reason I got this was because I got this, and I stopped at a Target a little after 7 a.m. on my way to work one day, the day this came out, because I had a gut feeling the 4K Blu-ray of this was just going to disappear. Lo and behold, I stopped about 7:10, bought this, no problem, from Target. By that afternoon, this was being price gouged to high hell on eBay, and everyone was trying to get it, so I'm very glad my hunch came through and I bought Oppenheimer. I saw this in the theater in IMAX with Jason and Austin, and we had a good time. I'm not usually a history guy. I'm not a biopic guy. I'm not a period piece guy, so this had a lot going against me. But I was interested enough in the subject matter, so... You know, I definitely wanted to own this too, with how big of a spectacle it was. And this was $10 brand new at Target, so I bought them at the same time so I could have my very own Barbenheimer thing whenever I get around to watching that. So if you really wanted to hear me talk about Barbie, sorry. And then these are two from Shout Factory, and I pre-ordered both of these months ago. I was so excited for both of these, the first of which being Clue. I had this on VHS and DVD, and I never got around to upgrading it to Blu-ray, which I'm glad I didn't, because now I was able to get this without it having to double dip on it. And this is one of my favorite comedies of all time. I've loved this ever since I was a kid. The cast, many of which I know are no longer with us, or health, in the case of Tim Curry, hasn't been the best, but this is just a classic comedy. So accessible, so funny. It just sucks that they were not able to find the fourth long-lost ending. That would have been so cool to see, but sadly it's not here. But I will take whatever I can get because I love the movie. There was that documentary that came out like a year or so ago called Who Done It? The Clue documentary, which I thought was terrible. It is literally one of the worst, most self-indulgent documentaries I've ever seen. Not good at all. And then this one I was even more excited for because this is one of my top favorite action thrillers of all time. And when I saw Shout Factory was putting it on Blu-ray finally, I was like, oh my god. And it contributes to the Gary Busey collection because it is Surviving the Game. I'm so happy I'm holding a Blu-ray of this right now. One of my favorites of all time. Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, John C. McGinley, William McNamara, Gary Busey, of course, and F. Murray Abraham. There's a commentary on here with the director, which is great. Really fun stories listening to him talk. And this, everything from Gary Busey's monologue, just to the survival aspects in the woods, the inventive way Ice-T takes each of them out, and all the other stuff at the cabin. Just everything about this is just such a fun action thriller, and I love it. I'm so happy that's on Blu-ray. And then I got 2 Kino Lorber titles through a little sale they were doing. This one I've heard about for ages. Another Rutger Hauer film, Blind Fury. And this one was fun. It kind of ridiculous, but fun, because it's trying to be like those kaiju, martial arts movies, but this kind of dumbass American take on it. But it's highly entertaining. I had a good time watching this one. Great cast in this one too. It loaded with Meg Foster has a tiny role in it at the beginning. Randall Tex Cobb, who you see as like a villain in a lot of 80s movies. Nick Cassavetes is in it. I mean, he may be blind, but he don't need no dog. I think that perfectly sums up the entire tone of the movie there. And then the other one I've always really liked Burt Reynolds, and this is just a re-release Kino Lorber did, so I'm like, I might as well grab it. So I ordered a copy of Malone. Overall, pretty solid. It's much more low-key of a movie than I was expecting. It doesn't quite feel like a TV movie, but almost. It's like right there. But like I said, Burt Reynolds, he's kind of the strong, silent kind of character. It almost feels like a modern set Western. But it builds up. The finale of it pretty much turns into Die Hard on a farm, which is a pretty fun concept. And there's a really cool explosion at the end. It kind of sucks they blew it for the poster here, but it's an entertaining movie. It's not the finest hour of Burt Reynolds, but it's a fun enough kind of modern Western to watch. Okay, now let's get into some of the Christmas stuff I got for this. The first one, and I wanted it to be stuff I had never seen before, so stuff that was new to me. So first, I decided to go with this Blu-ray that was on sale of Prancer, and then I saw Sam Elliott was in it. I'm like, well, I love Sam Elliott, so let's give this a shot. And I was expecting this to be a really cutesy, just kiddish Christmas movie for families. And I could not have been any wrong. This is one of the most depressing fucking Christmas movies I think I've ever sat through. It's good. It's a really well-told, pretty slow burn story. But it's a sad... While I was watching this, I'm like, well, now I'm sad. Because everything about this movie is such a downer. Like, every plot development... It has a nice ending, but the plot development, like, every connective joint within the story, it's like, well, this is sad. Well, this is sad. Well, that's a downer. And Sam Elliott is so just angry in this. It's a very unconventional G-rated family movie, but that's how you got to respect something like this from the 80s, when something like this could get... See, they do this nowadays. It would be a schmaltzy kid movie. The reindeer would probably be piss and shit jokes every other... So I do appreciate the more dark touch that one went on. And then a bit more of a raunchy affair. I bought this just $5 from my local used shop. I got The Night Before with Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Anthony Mackie. It's a Seth Rogen comedy. Need I say more? If you like that kind of... This movie has everything that I don't like about modern comedies, where you have actors that all act as if they're in a comedy. Like, you have comedians, they know they're in a comedy, so they ham it up, they do all this stuff, and, it is what it is. It's a lot of that awkward white guy humor, a lot of that raunchy drug, sex humor. It's everything you would come to expect of a Seth Rogen movie. But that being said, there were still elements in it that I liked, and it's dated. I mean, it's weird saying that about a 2015 movie, how dated it is. This thing culminates in a big performance by Miley Cyrus singing Wrecking Ball. But there are funny scenes to be had, including one where, because it's Seth Rogen, there has to be a scene where he goes on a drug trip, except this one happens in a church, and that scene was pretty fun. So if you like that brand of humor, it's all right. It's probably not going to be one I revisit a lot. And then this one is a Christmas Eve set action movie. I actually bought this months ago, not knowing what it was. So ideally, this would have been in the last update. But when I got the Blu-ray, I looked and the first letter of the synopsis says, on Christmas Eve. So I said, oh, well, now I got to sit on it and wait till it gets closer. So finally, after around Thanksgiving, Black Friday rolled around, so I finally decided to watch it. It's a little-known direct-to-video movie with a great cast, Fred Ward, Leah Thompson, called Exit Speed. And I was assuming this would be like some shitty version of the movie Speed, where the whole movie was going to be taking place on this bus. That's not the case. The bus is only in about the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, but it's a siege action movie where you have these 10 people, all from wildly different backgrounds with wildly different skills. On this bus, they get into it with this gang of meth head motorcyclists. It's a ridiculous movie, but I didn't know they were still making stuff like this in 2008, so that was fun. They end up held up in a junkyard. They fortify themselves, and they have to defend themselves against these meth-addicted bikers wearing Christmas masks, playing Christmas. Like, the Christmas stuff in here is so oddly just thrown in there, but makes it kind of funny. It's absolutely a Christmas action movie, if you ask me. And yeah, it's wild, it's fun. It's all done practically, which again, a 2008 direct-to-video action film, practical stunts, practical chase scenes, and much more practical gore than I was expecting out of this. So Exit Speed gets a lot of brownie points for me. I had a really fun time with it. It's actually a pretty great movie. And then this one I got as a free bonus when I bought some other Blu-rays. So it's not Christmas related, but I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. It's a Shia LaBeouf action thriller called Eagle Eye. And it's pretty solid. It's very much a Jason Bourne kind of feel to it, but it's interesting. It's kind of a long movie. I don't know if it needed to be that long, but it's fine for what it is. And already I was getting this for free as a bonus, but I got a bonus within a bonus because on the inside, not only did they have a Blu-ray of Eagle Eye, but they also had a Blu-ray of Killers with Ashton Kutcher. So I got a free bonus within my free bonus. I have not watched Killers yet. I've heard it's pretty bad, so I'm not in a hurry to. So if you know anything about Killers, let me know down below. But hey, free movie, why not? It's Christmas, the season of giving, so. Eagle Eye. Now on to the DVDs. I've got some Christmas movies here, never been released on Blu-ray. Now this one is actually one I saw years and years ago when I was a kid, because I had a VHS tape of A Very Brady Christmas, this 80s Christmas special that the Brady Bunch did. I had it on VHS. And this was one of the promos that was at the beginning of the tape. And I ended up seeing this probably when I was 9, 8 maybe. Never saw it. Couldn't remember much about it at all. So I thought, let's revisit that this Christmas, while I'm doing this. So it's 1991's All I Want for Christmas. And I gotta say, this is actually a really fun, good family movie. I'm surprised it's not more well-known and doesn't have more of a cult following. The plot of it is incredibly... It wears all of its cliches on its sleeve. You've seen this type of movie before. You've seen this type of plot before. You know how it's going to most likely end. But the execution of it, I thought Thora Birch as the main little girl is actually a lot of fun. Usually kid actors are what destroy movies like this, but she's funny. She's legitimately witty with her character. And of course you have a smaller role by Leslie Nielsen as the mall Santa that she makes continual visits to throughout the movie. Always great seeing Leslie Nielsen in anything. And yeah, this is just a really good time. It's a very 1991 movie where the 90s aesthetic hadn't totally taken off yet, but the 80s weren't quite finished. So this is such an in-between type thing, but really fun, good family Christmas movie. I enjoyed that one a lot. And then this one, again, just kind of a random pickup. I saw it sitting there. I said, oh, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, why not? It's a 90s Disney kids Christmas movie called I'll Be Home for Christmas. And when I say 90s Disney kids Christmas movie, that's what you get. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, it's fun. I'm sure there are people out there that have a huge nostalgia sake for this. I'm watching this for the first time at age 26. So this one was a little beyond me. There's certainly some weird elements to the plot in it. Because it's essentially a road comedy. Because only in the 90s, his dad is like, if you're home on Christmas Eve by 6:30 for dinner, I'm giving you the family Porsche. And so it becomes like a planes, trains, and automobiles road comedy of him trying to get home while trying to find and reconnect with his girlfriend, who looks like she's like 10 years older than he is. And weird kids Disney movie, but it's not without its entertainment factor. It's not like I was having a miserable time watching this. Again, it's probably not one I'm going to ever have the urge to revisit, but it was a nice little watch for the season. Now this one, I know this is a Christmas horror film, and I know this one has a huge cult following. Like, you look this thing up online, I think it went direct to video, but I think it said the sales of it were like $77 million in DVDs, and this movie has a huge cult following online and is very favorably reviewed. It has all good scores. It has a very Twilight Zone sounding plot and a very Twilight Zone feel to it, so I'm like, this sounds right up my alley. Let's go for it. And it's this movie with Ray Wise and Lynn Shay called Dead End. I'm on an island here, guys. I don't know what movie the entire world has seen. I thought this was pretty terrible. Yes, it's a Twilight Zone feel, Twilight Zone plot, but it tries to be a dark comedy at the same time, because there's all this comedy. This character right here, the stoner son, was one of the most annoying fuckers I've ever seen on film. He makes all these, because the comedy in this is so low-hanging fruit. It's all stoner jokes and dick jokes and stuff like that, which I was not expecting out of this to begin with. Like, there's a part you think he's going into the woods to take a leak, but he's going to jerk off because this woman. I'm like, what the fuck? And I guess the major plot twist to this movie 15 minutes in. It's I don't know why everyone is saying this is such an underrated gem of a movie. I called what the twist was 15 minutes in. The movie did nothing interesting. It was mostly just annoying because you have the stoner son who's an annoying character. Lynn Shay starts fine, but throughout the course of the movie she loses her mind and goes crazy, starts acting like a little kid, and then she's annoying, and then you get to the ending. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly where I thought this was going, like 15 minutes in. You couldn't do anything more to wow me on it. So I don't know why this I mean, if you like it, good on you. But I thought this sucked. I don't know, guys. I'm on an island with that one, but I just don't see it. And this one is not a Christmas movie. Again, I just picked it up from my local used shop cheap. I'm like, well, looks like something I might like. Eddie Murphy movie that I really never heard much about, but I was curious to see, Metro. It's very by the numbers. It's a typical cop action thriller. It's not this cover, this makes it look like more of a comedy. Yes, Eddie Murphy has some fun moments in it, but this is really not a comedy. It's a pretty straight-laced cop action thriller. It's not a lighthearted comedy type thing. But, that being said, it's still good, and the villain is wonderful, but could you really do a good job hating it? Michael Rappaport, you really hate him after a while in this, which is good. No, I'm sorry, Michael Wincott, right? Because Michael Rappaport played his partner. I don't know. I'm getting my Michaels confused. Michael Wincott, I think, is the villain. And then Michael Rappaport is his partner. Michael Wincott, whatever. One of the Michaels that plays the villain in this does a really good job, and you hate him by the end of it. And there's a really cool stunt set piece at the very end. like getting there, it's a pretty by the numbers cop movie. It hits all the beats you expect it to. Oh, I wonder if his beloved partner is going to get killed. Oh, I wonder if this love interest is going to inevitably get kidnapped by the villain. You know, like, you know the template of this before you even walk in. But it's well done. Eddie Murphy's good. Cool stunt at the end. I would have appreciated a little bit more uniqueness out of it, but as it was a fine watch. And this one, Scooby Doo is one of the few cartoons I will just buy anything. Like, even these specials and stuff, like Scooby Doo Meets Kiss was one, and they did a Halloween movie a couple of years ago that I picked up, and even that new animated one, Scoob. Something about Scooby Doo, I'll just get anything. So I thought this would be good for the update, this Scooby Doo holiday collection. I was under the assumption, you know, these were 3 things that I had never seen before. Chill Out Scooby Doo was an animated movie. I've never seen that one before, and it was pretty good. You got James Hong doing a voice in that one. 13 Spooky Tales, Holiday Chills and Thrills. Some of them I had seen, some of them I hadn't. And then Scooby Doo Winter Wonderdog is just a compilation of Scooby Doo Where Are You episodes. So I was a little underwhelmed because I'm like, oh, well, shit, I already have about half of what's on here. But the other half of what I didn't have was good. Like, Chill Out Scooby-Doo was fun. Cool to hear James Hong's voice in there. But hey, can you ever have too much Scooby-Doo? I really don't think so. So, not a bad watch. And last but not least, I started back at the beginning of October, and you can find the video here on my channel. I did a 9-day-long vacation where I joined a tour group, and I was touring the Southwest across Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. And over that time period, every night we were going from hotel to hotel, city to city, and there was a show I watched one night in the hotel room in Durango, Colorado. And from that night, every following night in my hotel room, it was on, and since that trip, for about 2 months straight now, I've been hooked on this show nonstop because there's like 25 seasons of it. A&E has about half of the entire run completely free on demand. Not the entire series, but they've got about half of it from every season free. So I've been binging this show nonstop for going on 2 months now, and I'm still not tired of it. I had never seen it before. And so I picked up this DVD of The First 48. The Most Intense Investigations, which I think these are all from the first or second season of it, which doesn't matter because the show has never really changed the template. It's always been the same narrator, you know, stuff, same format. It's a homicide investigation show, 100% real, just camera crews following homicide investigators in all these various cities. And like I said, on demand and online, A&E from all 24 seasons has about half the run completely free out there. So yeah, there's no shortage of this show, and I'll still be, you know, binging it for all the time forward, but love it. Love The First 40. It's like my new favorite show. I love it. And guys, that brings us to the end of our Christmas 2023 update. And the last DVD update, Blu-ray update for 2023. I want to give some shout outs here to some of my regular viewers who I'm always corresponding with. Of course, Kentucky Kunk Tater. If you're watching this far, you're always very generous with your comments. From Texas, we've got Bones in the Necro Zoo. Be sure to check him out. We've got D from the movie Bay. We've got Josh. Awesome guys. I like that I don't get a million comments on these things because it really feels like we're just a bunch of friends bullshitting about movies, you know, through the internet. So thank you all for your support and comments through 2023. I have a lot of movies coming my way, I'm sure, both as Christmas gifts and stuff that's being sent to me right now. So I'll probably get the next update not far into the new year. There will most likely be a January movie collection update, so won't be too long until the next one. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a very happy holidays, however you celebrate, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate at all. If you don't, I hope you have a great time just relaxing and doing nothing. Happy holidays, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.